Good morning, class. Our lesson for today is about the basic steps in the training process. I will use in this lesson the book Training and Development as a reference by Dr. Marivic F. Flores, Professor Angelito Ong Camilar Serrano, and Professor Rodolfo La Paz Ducot. Proceeding right away with step number 1 of the basic steps in training process. Number 1 is training needs analysis. The type of training that will be held in a company must have a logical reason behind it that will serve as its justification, because the company will spend money to finance the activity, and it is not possible for the company to spend money on a training that is not really needed. If every expense in training activities is an investment of the company, then the outcome of the training activity should not be just like an outing activity or a get together party. And in order to properly analyze the training needs, there must be reliable data that will become the basis. And where does the data come from? Comes from all the survey results from the clients or customers. It comes from interviewing all employees and from observations of actual activities. What results are we really looking for? We are looking about the satisfaction level of the customers, about the sales volume, about the situation of the workplace in terms of office relationship and safety, about the performance level of the employees, and many more. And what is the connection of customers' satisfaction level to analyzing training needs? Of course, if the satisfaction level of the customers is low, that means that the employees who have direct contact with customers still lack soft skills. When it comes to the connection of sales volume to analyzing training needs, if the sales volume is low, and that means the sales techniques of the salespersons were not effective and maybe already obsolete. The connection of interviewing employees to analyzing training needs is that it is not wise to ignore what the majority is saying, because the areas that need improvement will come out of the mouths of the majority, not only in the employee side but also in the administration side. What about the connection of personal observation to training analysis? That is because there is nothing more than seeing what is lacking in each department and each employee yourself. Seeing it yourself would be better than hearing it from others. According to our reference book called The Objective in Setting Up Needs Analysis is to discover the responses to the following queries. Number 1, why training is necessary. Number 2, what kind of training is considered necessary. Number 3, when is the training necessary. Number 4, where the training is considered necessary. Number 5, who requires the training. Number 6, who will carry out the training. Number 7, how will the training be executed. As I mentioned to you before in our activity called formulating questions, that in order to find the right answers, you need to learn how to formulate the right questions. And formulating questions is more difficult than answering questions. But when you learn how to formulate the right questions and find the right answers, then the next thing will happen is everything will be easier somehow. So that is the secret in training needs analysis. Right questions, right answers. Step number 2 is training designs. And before you can start this step, the objectives of the training must be clear. Clear objectives of the training must be established first, because the design of the training will be based on it. And it is not possible that the design of the training will be pure lecture, but the objective of the training is enhancing the technical skills of employees. On the other hand, if the design of the training is inappropriate, it will just end up being a waste of money and time. So it is like a coin with two sides that must always be intact to be useful and acceptable in the market. You may ask why it is necessary to design the training correctly. That is because HR will ensure that the identified deficiencies of employees are met. If you just organize a training without a specific objective and design, then how will you know if the training has met the company's needs for its employees? Another important point in this step is the HR should know about different types of training approaches, so that the design of training they will do will be easier and it would be better. They should be updated on different training approaches, because an approach that was effective in the past has no guarantee that it will still be effective in the present, especially if the training approach to be used is old school and then most of the employees are millennial employees, and that will not be effective. So familiarity with employees is very important in designing a training, because otherwise HR may enjoy facilitating the training, but the participants themselves will be bored and learn little. Step number 3 is training delivery. Once the design of the training is already okay, then the training delivery can be carried out. And there are things that should be taken into consideration when it comes to delivery according to our reference book in this lesson. Number 1, nature of the training. Number 2, topic of the training. Number 3, number of participants in the training. Number 4, individual versus team. Number 5, self-paced versus guided. Number 6, training resources and training cost. 7, e-learning versus traditional learning. 8, time allocated. 9, completion timeline. It is necessary to determine whether the training is reskilling or upskilling in order to know who will be the trainer and whether it is by team or individual. In the case of upskilling, then a lecture is required before application. You will also have the right choice of who will be the lecturer and whether there will be only one or many lecturers. If the participant is only one, for example, there is no need to book for a hotel in another country. Maybe it is possible to conduct the training in the workplace itself, especially if the training is self-paced. The trainee does not need to be guided for a long time, wherein the trainer can leave the trainee after giving the instruction. Then the trainer will just come back, or the trainee will just report to the trainer's office when the allocated training time is over. There are characteristics of an effective trainer from our reference book. Number 1, an interest to lecture the subject that will be taught. Number 2, an experiential knowledge of the subject to be taught. Number 3, an ability to encourage participants to learn. Number 4, a good sense of humor. 5, an energetic look and good posture. 6, a strong enthusiasm for the topic. 7, a strong empathy towards participants. 8, fitting audio, visual equipment to better understand the topic of the training. Step number 4, training evaluation. And this step will determine if the training is effective. And whatever the result of the evaluation, the HR should accept it with honesty and don't pretend that the target was hit even if it wasn't. And if the target is hit, the HR should not be satisfied with the result. HR should aim for improvement. The evaluation is not only right after the training event, but the evaluation should include the performance level of the employees and even the customers' reactions and comments after applying what they have learned from the training. That would be all for today. I hope you learned many important things from this lesson. We don't have a quiz or any activity about this lesson for now because you had just finished your prelim exam in this subject HRM, and maybe you are not done yet with other subjects. But we have an activity about this lesson in our next